Hey everyone, it's me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to Catechism for Kids. Have you ever seen pictures of a beautiful old city in France surrounded by the sea, with huge stone walls? That city is called Saint Malo. But did you know it was named after a wandering monk from Wales? It's true. Today we're going to travel back in time, over 1,400 years ago, to meet this amazing person, Saint Malo, whose feast day is celebrated on November 15th. Saint Malo is one of the 7 founder saints of Brittany, a region in France famous for its Celtic roots and stunning coastline. His story is like a grand adventure, filled with sea voyages, miracles, and a deep love for God that changed a whole community forever. It's a story that shows how one person, following God with courage, can become a shining light for everyone else. So are you ready to set sail on this journey? Let's begin. Our story starts way back around the year 520 in a place called Llancarfon in Wales. This is where Malo was born. His name might come from old Celtic words meaning brilliant and beautiful, which is a pretty great start. From a young age, Malo was raised in a monastery. Think of it as a special school where people dedicated their lives to learning about God and praying. At the monastery, Malo became a favorite student of a very famous saint, Saint Brendan the Navigator. Saint Brendan is legendary for his incredible sea voyages, exploring the vast ocean to spread the word of God. Malo, who was full of faith and a sense of adventure, joined Saint Brendan on these journeys. Legends say they traveled to amazing places. One story tells of how they found the island of the Blessed, a paradise-like island. On another voyage, they are said to have sailed as far as the Orkney Islands and the northern parts of Scotland. Imagine being on a small wooden boat, with just the wind and the stars to guide you, traveling to unknown lands to share your faith. It took incredible bravery and trust in God. Through all these adventures, Malo learned not just how to be a sailor, but how to be a missionary, someone who brings the good news to people who have never heard it. After his travels with Saint Brendan, Malo felt a calling to go to a new land. He set sail for a part of France, then called Armorica, which we now know as Brittany. He wasn't looking for a fancy palace or a big city. Instead, he settled on a small rocky island at the mouth of the Rance River. There, he lived a simple life under the guidance of a wise old hermit named Aaron. A hermit is someone who lives a quiet, solitary life dedicated to prayer. Malo and Aaron lived together on this island, praying and growing in their faith. When Aaron passed away, the local people looked to Malo for leadership. They saw his kindness, his wisdom, and his deep connection to God. They asked him to be their spiritual guide, and he was eventually consecrated as the first bishop of Alyth, the area we now call St. Servan, which is right next to the island. As Bishop Malo was a true shepherd to his flock. He wasn't just a leader who gave orders. He was gentle, courageous, and deeply loved the people he served. The small community that grew around his simple home on the island began to flourish. People were drawn to his teachings and his example. Over time, the settlement on that rocky island grew into a town. And what did they name it? They named it Saint Malo, in honor of the humble monk from Wales who had become their beloved bishop and founder. Being a bishop wasn't always easy. There were times of conflict and trouble. At one point, things got so difficult that Saint Malo was forced to leave Alyth, but the people missed him terribly. They realized how much his guidance and prayers meant to them, and they begged him to come back. Being the gentle leader he was, he returned and helped restore peace and order to the community. Saint Malo lived a very long and full life. Tradition says he lived to be over 100 years old. As he felt his life coming to an end, he wanted to spend his final days in quiet prayer, just as he had started with the hermit Aaron. He passed away on November 15th in the year 621, leaving behind an incredible legacy. He didn't just build a church. He helped build an entire Christian community that would grow into a world-famous city. Today, the city of Saint Malo stands as a testament to his life. It's known as the Corsair City, famous for its brave sailors and explorers. It was home to Jacques Cartier, the explorer who discovered Canada, and other famous seafarers who sailed the globe. The city grew wealthy from trade and exploration, but it never forgot its spiritual founder. The city has faced its own trials. During World War II, it was almost completely destroyed. But just like its founder, the city had a spirit of resilience. Over 21 years, the people of Saint Malo painstakingly rebuilt their home, stone by stone, including the beautiful St. Vincent Cathedral. Today, it's a bustling port, a popular tourist destination, and a vibrant city that honors its unique history. And what about Saint Malo? The person is remembered in many ways. He's the patron saint of the city that bears his name, of course. He is also the patron saint of pig keepers because of a story where he miraculously brought a sow back to life. And people also pray to him when they've lost something. Even more importantly, Saint Malo is one of the 7 stages of a special pilgrimage called the Trobrides, which means Tours of Brittany. For centuries, pilgrims have walked this route to honor the 7 founding saints who brought Christianity to the region. It's a powerful reminder of how the faith and courage of these early missionaries shaped the culture and soul of Brittany. The influence of Saint Malo even reaches across the world. Have you heard of the Falkland Islands? In Spanish, they are called the Islas Malvinas. That name comes from the French name for the islands, Îles Malouines, which was given by sailors from, you guessed it, Saint Malo. Îles Malouines was named by Louis Antoine de Bougainville in 1764 after the first known settlers, mariners, and fishermen from the port of Saint Malo. Pontoise Cathedral is dedicated to Saint Malo. Les Mahago Priory in South Lanarkshire is also dedicated to him in the Latin form of his name, Machutus. He is the patron saint of the churches of St. Mons and Llanfair in Monmouthshire, in Llanfickle in Anglesey. The place name, St. Maclou, also refers to him. There is a church in Rome dedicated to him as San Macuto, Rome, on Piazza di San Macuto. It's amazing how the legacy of one humble monk can travel so far. So, what can we learn from the story of Saint Malo? We learn that God can use anyone to do great things. Malo wasn't a king or a powerful general. He was a monk who loved God and was brave enough to follow where God led him. Whether it was across the stormy seas with Saint Brendan or to a small rocky island in France. His life is like a lighthouse. Lighthouses stand on the shore and shine a bright light to guide ships safely to harbor. Saint Malo, through his faith, his courage, and his love for others, became a spiritual lighthouse. He guided people to God and helped them build a community that has shone brightly for over 1,400 years. When you follow God with a brave and open heart, your life too can become a light for others. You don't have to sail across the ocean or build a city. You can be a light in your family, at your school, and in your neighborhood, just by showing kindness, being courageous in doing what's right, and sharing the love of God with everyone you meet. Next time you see a picture of the walled city of Saint Malo, with the waves of the Atlantic crashing against its ancient stones, remember the Welsh monk who started it all? Remember Saint Malo, the adventurer, the bishop, and the saint, whose life of faith continues to inspire us today. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Catechism for Kids. I hope you enjoyed learning about the incredible Saint Malo. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time for another amazing story from our faith. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and healthy as always. See you next time, and God bless you always.